Logical Mgtow. Many of you know me as Logical Mgtow Spock. I'm back on YouTube, although I don't know exactly how far I'm going to be going, but also this video will be also on BitChute. The one thing I found out, and from yesterday to today, is that, and both myself and Mr. Hate Vicious, Mgtow brother, knew this was going to happen. That Mr. Alec Fleming, that claims to be in Roseville, which I have gone up and down near Roseville and in Roseville, and I haven't seen him anywhere in Roseville, so therefore he could be BSing, but I'm not gonna judge him on that. But it seems that he's made his own philosophy and used and rearranged the Mgtow lettering. And he's even made a video that says that's labeled "The Dangers of Mgtow." And he's obviously made his own philosophy, therefore he's essentially, without notice, of course, pulled out of Mgtow. First, he claims after he got through starting to go through the aspect of possible divorce, which possibly he really didn't really go too much into that even along the way. But nonetheless, he actually has made his own little philosophy and wants men to go back to the plantation. He's helping the feminists, and yet he may deny that with all breath and willpower that he may have even claimed to have. Um, he's basically helping the feminists. So you can call him a GTMOW, whatever the hell, of a feminist. Be like many of the teenagers that we've seen on video of both YouTube and whatnot, um, claim to be supportive of the feminist movement. Little do any of them know that they will eventually eat their words, eat their actions that they've made, and want to re-enter the manosphere of Mgtow. I have talked to Mr. Hate Vicious, and he even knew that Alec would eventually simp out. So basically we have another one that claimed to be wanting to be Mgtow, and then claimed to be Mgtow like the mid beginning part of it, right? And then we Mgtow, even monks, our Mgtow brother monks supported him and helped him out, whatnot, of what their knowledge has been and is. But then he used his own philosophy along the way, and then rearranged the lettering of Mgtow, and created his own philosophy. And he even said, I've even posted it with a number of Mgtow members, both on Facebook and YouTube, Alec Fleming has openly said that he's glad he's not Mgtow. Thereby, he wants to think that his philosophy works better, which it won't. And basically, also, what he's doing, and he doesn't realize it, is that he's gradually simping. He's essentially kneeling back to the feminist woman of whoever that may be, even if it is, or probably was, or probably still is his what he claimed to be soon to be ex-wife, or possibly his wife still essentially at this point. Who's to say? But the basic fact is that he's kneeling down and simping. He's mangina-ing, essentially. He's becoming a mangina simp, a weakling. Thereby, he took the knowledge of us Mgtow members and brothers and monks and reorchestrated it to the points of what he understood, but also where he'd be able to use it to where he'd be gradually helping the feminist movement and the Me Too movement the, of every woman while he simps back to his woman or simps back to a woman. Thereby, I know if he sees this video, who gives a shit? Because basically you're gonna Alec, if you're watching this, man, Alec Fleming, if you're watching this video, we all know, and we've seen this many times before, okay, that those who took the knowledge of Tom Likas to start with, and then pulled away from the Tom Likas 101 teachings, and then ate their words and actions, and then tried to gradually go in there. Tom Likas eventually let them back in once he found out that they were actually following his teachings. The same thing goes with the basis of Mgtow. Many men have orchestrated the Mgtow knowledge and used it to their own philosophy, as you have so far, Alec, and then sent it back to the feminist Me Too movement, little bitches of women, even if it wasn't the same woman that they were essentially divorced or broke up from, whatever. Even if it isn't the same one, like I said. Um, then eventually they found out that they were wrong. They shouldn't have done what they did. They basically ate their actions, ate their words of saying that they're glad they're not Mgtow anymore and all this other stuff. And then they started bashing along with trying to bash Mgtow and whatnot because they found out that their situations became way worse than they were at even while they gradually pulled it and essentially went into Mgtow. And then when they went back out of Mgtow and tried to bash us Mgtow members, right? Then a number of it could have been a few months to maybe about a year and a half or more, depending on the person, of course, and the situation. That they essentially ate their words and ate their actions and said, "Oh man, I shouldn't have done that." Da, 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 this and that and the other. And then essentially they wanted to go right back into Mgtow and apologize for their stupid, illogical actions. That exactly what you, Alec Fleming, are going to be doing as well. Those who also pulled out of Mgtow, along with so-called angry Mgtow, and who, like I told Mr. Hate Vicious not too long, well, about no more than maybe a few months to about a year ago, that angry Mgtow essentially changed his acronym to something else. Um, that and eventually angry Mgtow is going to eat his words and then want to go right back into the Mgtow manosphere as well. But the basic fact is that it's not going to be that easy. And I can guarantee if Tom Michaels was still broadcasting, but I think in a way he is because he messaged me back on Facebook. Um, um, but he basically wouldn't allow the guy to come back into the Tom Likas 101 teachings ever again after the first time he let him in. The second time you pull out, you're not going to be back in so easy. Mgtow could be the same way, but on this case, it only takes one time. Logical Mgtow goes the same base. I created the Facebook page of Logical Mgtow on Facebook. I know Logic, thereby many of you knew me as Logical Mgtow Spock. You can call me Spock if you want. And if you notice that I am growing a beard and mustache like the evil Spock on the original Star Trek, trust me, I'm going to shave this, but I'm not. But it's when I do not simp to to uh, to anything and or even by pressure to shave this. It'll be on my own doing and my own choice. That's the whole basis of Mgtow. Do things what you feel right for you. To start with, build yourself up emotionally and psychologically. Do not kneel down to the feminist actions and manipulations of women. Do not ever allow the woman to get to your finances, be that your your wallet. Don't ever let them get to your bank account if you have. Because all they'll do while they're in a relationship with you is have you spend a lot on them, and yet they could be working at the same time and hold on to their money. And more than many of them, do that. And as you keep on spending, they keep on saving. That's the mindset of the woman. They will only spend so much on them if they're single, and even if they are in a relationship, they'll only spend very little, if any. But they'll have you simps spend more on the woman versus yourself. They'll say, "Oh, you don't need to spend this much on you. Spend this much on me. I want you to buy me the most expensive piece of shit thing that I don't really need. Extravagant. I don't want you to do that for you. I want you to do that for me." That's the mindset of the feminist woman of even today. They won't admit it. The basic fact is that, as I've said with and the logical Mgtow, is that women are indecisive. Many people have called me crazy because they want to simp out. They keep on. They're probably still simping out to the woman. Yet, eventually, when they find out what the Mgtow philosophy is teaching and has saved lives, I've saved a number of lives even before Mgtow. And I can guarantee the one thing is, if you haters of Mgtow want to keep on trying to bash us, you're not going to succeed, because the more attention we get, the stronger we will be. The more attention women get, the more manipulation they can do to the male, and the more they'll withhold sex, thinking that their vagina, their camel toe, if you want to call it that as well, is worth billions, like a fucking pot of gold, even way bigger than a pot of gold, actually, in that sense. I mean, hell, the women already think that already. What's the difference? But basically, they'll have you work harder and harder for it to the points of your deathbed. They won't tell you that straight out. They'll say, "Oh no, they're wrong." They'll say anything because they can't get anybody. We can get people. We can get a woman if we want to, but we will not simp to them. We'll keep on doing the Tom Likas 101 teachings. We'll keep on doing the Mgtow philosophy. The basic fact is that I myself, I was okay. I'm gonna tell you straight out. I was married one time. This is before Mgtow, before I even knew there was a Mgtow. Okay, but the one thing is that I stood in Mgtow. I didn't deal with nobody's shit, even when I was working. And even when I was working fast food, I was essentially testing each relationship I went into. I was testing the woman. Two of them failed. Well, actually, three of them failed. One was still learning. Of course, even though I had children with the one, Doesn't mean I didn't stay Mgtow. But the basic fact is, yes, I was gonna say burgundy of a pill at that point. But when I divorced, when I found out many different illogical things, I divorced and went straight, and I worked up myself to back up to red pill. I'm gonna tell you that straight out. But the basic fact is, I'm not like Alec Fleming though. I didn't use my own philosophies on things. I have logic and I know psychology and I know the male and female psyche. Yes, I've known it even before Mgtow, even before Tom Likas. I still used it, but I never tried to rearrange the philosophy of Mgtow and the teachings of Tom Likas and used it as my own. That's essentially what Alec Fleming is doing by starting out with, by rearranging the by using some parts of the Mgtow for his grouping of philosophy, which basically he's gradually trying to get people to go back to the plantation in the sense of helping the feminist and Me Too movement. Although at the same time, as many of you know, that I've said that the Me Too movement want men to join, and obviously Alec Fleming is already in the track of that. But I know that I myself and Mr. Hate Vicious already know that he's gonna gradually find out he made the biggest fucking more than a flop up of a mistake and eat his words and his actions and what he said about in the sense of him not being a Mgtow and various other things. And also he's gonna regret making that the dangers of Mgtow video. And I know, and he's gonna try to do what he can to apologize to us Mgtow members and try to slide his way back in. And I hope that the Mgtow monks will not allow that. Once it happens, it shows a weakness within the manosphere, and we don't want to have that shown. Because eventually, if it's shown, the feminist movement and the Me Too movement, little bitches will eventually find out, and they'll try to use it against us, Mgtow members and brothers and monks. We don't need that. So those who want to stay Mgtow, you need to be sure that you want to be Mgtow. You don't want to go into Mgtow, claim that you're a Mgtow member, and then suddenly, gradually re reintegrate the Mgtow philosophy to your own, like Alec Fleming has already done, and then pull out a Mgtow and then do the same bullshit that he's done so far. And then eventually, and then they have to, and then where it goes to the point where you have to re-educate yourself in the sense of the feminist Me Too movement, bitches, and the Mgtow and various other things, while you're gradually simping back to the plantation. You don't want to do that because once you do that, we will not let you back in. So you need before any new Mgtow member comes into the manosphere, even if you've heard our philosophies of Mgtow, which is pretty damn strong, then you need to really take the time to think about it. Because, like I said, once you're in, you need to stay in. Don't do what will be soon to be known as an Alex Fleming of saying that you're Mgtow, following the philosophies, and then reintegrating them into your own philosophy, and then gradually pulling out without notice, even without notice, and then try to rearrange the Mgtow thing by using Mgtow alongside it from time to time, like Alex Fleming has done, and then say that you're not Mgtow anymore, and then make videos like the dangers of Mgtow type of thing, like Alec Fleming did. Because then suddenly you find out that your actions were stupid and illogical and wrong, and then you'll try to apologize and try to simp you can get back into Mgtow. It won't. It will not work that way. You need to really think about it. Because, like I said, once you're Mgtow, you need to be you need to be strong. You need to be strong not only within yourself, emotionally, psychologically, and what have you else. You need to also prove your loyalty and support of Mgtow and the philosophies, and thereby you can build your own. But the one thing is, don't do what Alec Fleming did, as I mentioned before. Just you and try to integrate your own thoughts, and we may even, us regular Mgtow here, may go along with it. Who's to say if it makes any sense? We're not judgmental, but you need to make sure that it would go along with what we've been talking about and teaching, and what Tom Likas has been teaching. And if you want to know what Tom Likas has been teaching, go on YouTube and look up Tom Likas 101. He'll teach you everything when it comes to the female mindset, the whole enchilada. I mean, he has numbers of segments on YouTube that many other Tom Likas followers have put on YouTube. And the basic fact is, Tom Likas speaks logic as much as we do at Mgtow, in the Mgtow manosphere. There have been many feminists kind of coming back onto YouTube, and one we're still dealing with, surprisingly, that claimed to be forming her own base of Mgtow, but in the sense of those women who don't have men, that claim that they don't need a man, and and then make their own base of Mgtow for women, essentially, for single women and mothers, and post it on YouTube and try to get females to join in. You cannot do that. You cannot use the females. You cannot use the Mgtow acronym and just to get attention. Because that's one thing we Mgtow members will not deal with. If you want the female feminist Me Too movement attention, ladies, you need to keep it within the female mindset of a grouping. Don't we will we will we will go after you on that, in the sense that we will bash you, we'll keep on doing the thumbs down on you. We'll make you feel so insecure that you. We have saved lives. You women have not. You've manipulated lives. You've cheated on men. You've lied to us men by saying that you would never cheat on us, and you've lied to us men saying that you would never cheat on us, even when we any of us were married to you, even in the relationships, in serious relationships, and you've had it to where we had to work even harder just because you wanted more out of us. And yet we haven't really asked that much out of you, women. We've asked the logical, realistic aspect of and levels and whatnot of what a man expects of a woman, but yet you pulled away from that by cheating on us, for one, and trying to manipulate us and try to drain us of our own finances and whatnot, and you've took us to court, because the court system only favors the woman. There's only a very small to almost non-existent percentage, and even a very seldom percentage, that the courts will side with the male. It doesn't happen that much for us men. So women still have the courts because they haven't changed the laws even on that aspect, especially when it comes to alimony and child support. especially for the women who are working and who have worked even while cheating on us men and manipulating us men and whatnot else. So basically, Tom Likas and myself and Mr. A. Vicious has said, women need to change the laws where we won't be responsible for child support and alimony if you fucking cheat on us, women. You women, if you women cheat on us and do us wrong and try to manipulate us and all this other shit, even though at the same time you're making money, and you try to fucking do shit to where we feel less of a man, essentially, in which women have done, then guess what, ladies, we're not going to be with you. And get this, and there's ways where that many men don't realize, and I might even share this video with Mr. Vicious. Um, there are many ways where we can get out of marriages from the woman without involving the courts. But at the same time, the percent if there was any percentage of money being exchanged, if at all, and I believe there was ways where we wouldn't really have to without involving the courts, but still make it legal. And no, that does not entail killing the woman. It does not entail murdering the woman. It does not entail making the woman commit suicide or anything like that. It entails where the woman is still around, even for the children, but the money would be only exchanged only so long, if any, if at all, but only to the agreeable of what we say. But if the woman is still working while going, even in the separation aspect and divorce aspect, without you involving the courts, um, and then the woman has to fend for herself, and the only money that will be exchanged when we men are able to spend time with our children that we helped the woman bring into the world. And if the woman and tries to block that, then guess what? You women are on your own. And get this, there was a Tom Likas video on YouTube. And it was he did one segment essentially on air on the radio that a Tom Likas fan posted on YouTube, and he got a phone call from a woman that was emotionally distraught, uh, and she was in tears, and she told Tom Likas that she had a son that was threatening to commit suicide because there was no father figure around. Thereby, she admitted that she made the mistake of what she did in the sense of when it came to the child's father, and where she did what she could, which is commendable on one aspect, but on the other aspect, once you're with a man, you need to be faithful to the man, even and if you don't want to be faithful to the man, then you can't expect us to pay child support, and we will not marry you, women. Mm-mm. Because if you can't truly devote your whole entire being in life, like you women have claimed that you would be able to do, but yet then many years later, even months later, we find out you're not truly willing to, in the sense of cheating and various other things and other emotional, psychological, manipulative bullshit. actions that you women have done. Then, when it comes to the divorce thing, then of course, guess what? If you women are still working, or even if you end up getting a something or someone else, then basically we men don't have to fork any cash towards you of any amount and any percentage. Thereby, you women have just screwed yourself, and you will be another percentage of women who have children committing crimes and various other things. And to the points of what, like I mentioned, what actually was on a segment of Tom Likas, that a woman actually called because the child was about to commit suicide or even threaten suicide. Who's to say if he did or didn't? There was no follow up to that I know of anyway, especially. But the one thing is, if you don't want to go through that, you need to devote yourself and your being in life to the man. And that means no cheating, no bullshit, and don't no high expectations and all this illogical, no illogical high expectations, and and uh, and you're not entitled to a higher percentage than the man either, because they, like I said many times in the logical Mgtow videos, that the entitlements still stay this way. The woman's side right here does not go higher even after the divorce. It still stays the same. It still stays the same. So basically, that's that right there, isn't it? So Alec Fleming, you need to realize what I said to be true, because I know both myself and Mr. Vicious know this. And many, I'm not going to say that other, but the basic fact is what I said. You will eventually you'll eat your words and actions and want to come right back into the Mgtow manosphere. You're going to have to do a hell of a lot to do that, to being able to even be accepted back in. And also, for the future Mgtow members and brothers and monks, um, if you want to know more, please let me know. But though Mgtow haters, you can stay off of my comment section, because if I see any Mgtow haters and whatnot, then I will easily have you traced and and put in jail for harassment, online harassment. And yes, there's such a thing as that. And yes, there's such a thing as online policing. This is Logical Mgtow Spock. Live long and prosper.